Hi everyone, I'm the Plant Propagator and welcome to my channel. Today it is a beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. It is mid-November, nice warm day, a little overcast, which is fine. We're expecting just a little bit of rain in the afternoon today, which is a little bit unusual, but it's just a great time of the year here for growing orchids. I've got a lot of plants that are in spike that are starting to bloom. I do have some plants that I want to share with you. I've got one first bloom that I want to share with you, but I want to talk about, before I get to my first bloom, which is right here. It's really cool. I do want to share some other blooms and some other stories with you. So I want to start off with this guy, which I've shared with you previously. So this is a Brassavola Myakka Stars, and this is really prolific, has a lot of blooms on it. They're small blooms, not my favorite, but it's nice and I'm enjoying it. And as I'm looking down at this plant, even though it's blooming, it's got a lot of new pseudobulbs growing out. So the plant is doing pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with it. But what I have, and what you may or may not be able to see, is my pollination tag right here. So I used this and made a cross onto this. Actually made a few crosses onto this, and some of them didn't work. What I'd like to do is kind of mix it up a little bit. A lot of the breeders will cross similar plants, and I think it's more exciting and it's maybe more juvenile, but hey, that's me. Just do some wide crosses because you don't really know what you're getting. It's probably not a smart thing to do if you think you can predict the outcome. So I cross this and we'll see how this goes. I crossed this onto one of my big, bright, pink to red flared Cattleyas, and I'll put a picture of an image of the Cattleya that I crossed onto this. We'll see if it works. It's not, again, it's also not good to cross big onto small, small onto big, because you have compatibility issues, but I just did that here and we'll see how it goes. I made some other crosses that didn't work, where essentially the flower fell off, and this one, it looks like it's got a good start, so it looks like it may be working. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know yet, so we'll keep an eye on it. One of the other ones that I wanted to share with you today, again, and this is my Cattleya walkeriana. So I've got I got some comments back from you on this plant and what's involved with this, and the fragrance on this. I first shared this with you when right as the bloom was starting to open, and what happened with that is that it hadn't quite developed its fragrance yet, but now it has. I don't know if it's in peak fragrance, but it's close to it. Anyway, just a beautiful flower. It's got just a little bit of purple in the petals and maybe sepals, just a hair, not too much. So, you know, I don't know whether this is a semi-alba or not, but it's a nice flower. The one thing though is that soon after I did my last video where I highlighted the walkeriana, I saw a new bloom coming out. You know, the plant's not that big. I should have seen it, but I didn't. It was kind of still curled up in the leaf and kind of underneath this leaf, but it has since come out. So even though this is my first bloom, I'm going to get my second bloom coming by just behind it. So I'm really excited about this, that I have my second bloom. I haven't used this in my crosses, but I might actually pull some pollinia off of one of these flowers and use it. I'm curious to see if I have the same type of white, or if I have any subtle purple or pink coloration in the second bloom that is probably going to be open in a couple of weeks. So I wanted to share that with you too. So let me put that back. I also wanted to share with you another bloom that I have, and I've shared this with you previously, and that's right here. So this is Star of Siam, and one of the blooms is going strong, the other bloom is fading, and it's fading because I was bad. And what that means is I used this flower, I crossed onto this. And I crossed onto, we'll see what happens. I'll put the picture of the flower that I crossed onto this on the screen so you can see what it looks like. Again, this is going to be pretty unusual. I really like flared, fragrant Cattleyas, and so the pollinia that I crossed onto this was a big, fragrant Cattleya. So I'm excited about it's still a little early. The flower's fading. It's a good sign. I don't know if you have the, the ovary is getting, it's thickening. I don't know whether I'm going to get a capsule, but it does look pretty good. The other thing about this plant is I've got 1, 2, 3 more sheets that seem to have flowers inside of it. So I hope I hope I'm not going to negatively affect these flowers by crossing onto this flower. But I just, it's bad. I couldn't help myself, so I crossed onto this, and we'll see what happens. I do have another tag here, and I did cross onto this other flower, but this flower is fading. I don't think this other cross worked, and it's interesting, what I crossed onto it is something that looks a lot more similar to this than the other flower. So anyway, I'm excited about that, and we'll see what this goes. So this is Star of Siam, and what I want to do now is get to my other bloom, and this is my first bloom on this plant right here, and this is a very cool flower. There's no more blooms behind it. I've had this plant for about a year. This is my first bloom on this plant, and this came from Sundance Orchids and Bromeliads. So this is a smaller grower that's in Fort Myers. They have nice plants, and I'm probably going to head back up there and try to grab some more of the plants and just to see what they have. I don't know, but this plant is called Siam City #1. So we've got this is Star of Siam, this is Siam City. So both of these flowers, both of these plants originated, the cross originated in Thailand, and the parent of this cross is the same as the parent of Amazing Thailand, if you're familiar with that flower. So Siam, Amazing Thailand, Thailand's all over the place because there are good breeders and great flaskers in Thailand. Next time I'm over there, I do need to go visit some of the flasking companies if I can get in. I'm going to contact the father of this orchid and see whether he responds to communication. I have his contact information, and we'll go from there. But he's been very successful generating some really colorful, fragrant, some splash petals, some not, from some crosses that I wouldn't expect would give this type of unusual flower. But this is a great flower, and it's my first cross. It has fragrance. So this flower it may be about a week old, so it's got some fragrance. Early in the morning is peak fragrance on this. It's not close to the walkeriana, but it has a nice fragrance. But what I really like about this flower is the contrast in with the petals and sepals in the lip, and that's what I'd like. It'd be perfect if there was some flaring in the petals and sepals, and maybe that's something that I should go for down the road. I'm not sure whether I'm going to cross this flower or not. It's my first flower on this plant. Seems to be pretty sturdy, seems to be growing well, but I might hold off on this. I'll harvest the pollinia from it, but I probably am not going to cross onto this for now. But again, I really like it. It has kind of a yellowish, reddish, kind of rust-colored sepals and petals with this really pretty purple lip and a yellow throat. Has a really impressive looking flower. It's just striking. Fragrance, nice small plant. So this is kind of the orchid that I like and what I'm going for. Okay, so this is pretty nice. It's going to be, I think it's going to be one of my favorites. I haven't had this for a while, but you know, good vigorous grower. Since I got this as a small seedling, it's put on, I think since I've gotten this thing, it's put on a couple of new pseudobulbs, and this one I was very pleased and surprised that I had a bloom on this one. As I'm putting this back and looking up in my orchid pergola, I've got some other blooms coming. I've got some, and the other ones that I have at this point. So I got a repeat bloomer that I'll pull down. It just opened today, so the flower's not open. And then I got another repeat bloomer, Chocoberry Fondue from Fred Clark. That is, it's really, the flowers are nice, but they just opened, so they're really not displaying well. All right, so that's all I have for you today. I've got a lot of things coming that I'll share with you as we go further down the road. I also want to share with you, I've got a lot of seedlings from the plants that I've made, some of the hybrids that I've generated. I've got a lot of seedlings in 2-inch pots that are getting big, and what I want to show you is how I repot those. So I'm planning on doing another video on that as we move down the road. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing my videos, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, getting busy outside, getting busy in the lab. It's just awesome. All right, that's all I have for today. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.